All right. What's up, folks? Let's talk about treasonous Donald Trump, the super un-American scumbag who is opposed to the nation that he runs. And man, this is a dude who has been in turmoil within himself, conflicting with his own people, and the fact that this dude needs to be removed immediately, and he knows what is going to happen to himself, and as well as what he's going to affect with careers of many walking on their knees Republican politicians who will find themselves sitting at home swept like a playoff team and unable to continue on through the next round. And once that happens, Donald Trump has a feeling of being ousted from his position. But that may happen before midterm elections even begin. As you know, actions are starting to take place to make this dude into really would be is essentially what they're going to essentially make him is into a lame duck president, is to remove a bunch of powers away from this guy. Don't give him the powers for anything. And I see them making the efforts to go after certain powers for Donald Trump. But then again, I don't know how they go about that. How do you go about the removal of certain powers from this president, especially as this president has taken upon himself to amass world domination, especially amongst the weaker nations, going in there, I don't know, putting these dudes under the penalty of just existing. And with the fact that he sees a resource that fits his personal economic agenda and to furthering his mission of being, I don't know, one of the wealthiest people in the world or whatnot. And that's off the backs of what other military personnel have to go in there and fight for this dude off the orders of this delusional, uh, 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 you know, president that we have here, one that was elected by a lot of the retarded folks of this nation. And the fact he can give two damns about the people, nothing in which what he can and what he campaigned for. Is anyone seeing any of that shit? We're seeing the damage that he's doing to the economy, as many of the people here in this country are starting to lose their employment, struggling with the day to days of life, the essentials that are needed. There's the pricing of everything is skyrocketing. And what this dude is out here is on a mission of conquest for wealthy people and wealthy donors, and to only look out for those. And now he's dabbing into these global affairs of going there and taking his stake of putting the Trump flag into these foreign nations. It ain't no American flag this dude is putting down into the soil as he goes about uh, uh, an imperialist conquest of these goddamn countries and sticking an American flag in it. No, no, no. This is a Donald Trump flag placed into the ground of these nations. And once again, this dude is a serious threat to American democracy as he defies everything about the rules of his position, the powers that he has, and the way in which he's just going to go about and being to this rogue, evil ass dude. And when you look at what he does inside of America, now outside of America, that's for his own personal gains. Inside of America, this dude has become an American terrorist, targeting, making this huge political dividing and everything. Wanting to deploy the National Guard as a symbolism of his threatening power towards the civilian population of America, and viewing other Americans on this divided line that Trump, imagination has created, as we're going to target blue cities and this and that, as if you're not going to target people who may have voted for you in these cities as well. Just because you lose an election, you lose election in the state, losing a certain city doesn't mean the cities are 100% uh, uh, anti-Trump people in there, or people who voted against this damn idiot, and cutting programs in these cities. These, uh, uh, you know, these fictitious investigations that this dude is running inside of certain cities and claiming fraud. And when you look at the investigations that he's running in these cities and taking the word off of some old made up fool from off of Twitter and the internet and faking like investigative journalists, and then the FBI and all these other agencies that he has to go in there and terrorize people in an effort to cut away programs so he can threaten the families inside these cities, threaten the kids inside these cities, starve people out. And all that has done is ignited people. And then now you have the actions of these Gestapo ass fucking agents that he has hired. And I don't even think he has vetted many of these people that are working for these federal agents. I think these people are applying for these jobs, being rushed through the process, not being fully screened. I doubt if these dudes are even qualified people. I believe a lot of these people are coming from out of the militias associated within these white militias, white nationalist groups. And there's all type of video popping up of people approaching uh, people from ICE and finding certain tattoos on these guys, certain behaviors. Like they have a video where some dude was up there approaching one of the agents out there, kicking over candles and shit for that were dedicated to this woman who lost her life after dropping her children off and only filming these dudes and then being shot. And then they have an incident in Portland where they shoot two people. And pretty soon it's going to take it to a point to where the people are going to be like, the hell with that. Because one thing about American people is American people will stand up and revolt. And now people who are buying in to the Trump agenda, the Trump rhetoric, begin to start looking at things for what they are and look and say, we have been had. And now they are ignited and they start going after this fool. And they start getting on the right side of things and making their push at getting rid of this fool because they're ultimately the ones who are suffering. You're finding industries shutting down, industries that are laying off people by the loads because this dude has no idea what the hell he's doing. His policies do not work. He has no understanding of economics. The one thing is that there are so this trickle down into as the economy begins to fall off, the impacts don't always hit at the top. The impacts ain't always start at the top. So they ain't going to always feel that shit immediately. But the people down on the ground are going to be the ones who end up suffering. They suffer through this shit. But it's not going to work to where this fool is able to recover from this goddamn stall. This shit is going to impact the ground. And it is going to be a heavy pill for people to swallow. It's going to be to where some people never recover from this shit. Inside of America, recovery is very hard. You cannot consistently go through life setting shit backwards. And where things are only meant to benefit one economic class in this damn country. No siree, Bob. And the fact this dude is making enemies out of everyone, him and this little young chump that's in his administration, the former Epstein choir boy and Hegseth, going about this little tough guy, character that he has put on. Like I said, these dudes are just script readers and shit. And put on this script and acting as if they're the baddest and toughest thing and nothing to be messed with. Don't F around and find out, military, this weapon that they have. And man, homeboy, this shit about to flip. And you best believe there are allied nations who are now putting on their war training, military planning that is geared around the possibility of having to attack America. And being that Trump will have to extend if he is to go into war, he probably would call for an order to go after these other countries and retaliate and stretch the U.S. military to fight on multiple fronts, which America has to pay a heavy cost for that shit going into war. Wars aren't free. They definitely impact the economy and shit. And they also impact the American population because those are your family members that are going off to these wars and dying in them. And then you hope none of this shit hit home as well. Let me say what's up to y'all. Brandon in the building. Trump lover, Trump supporter Brandon Washington says, no, he should not. He says, give him his money. We got the bet. And like I told him, Trump will be gone in 2 years. We still in that first year and a few months. We still get to go into year 2 in a few months. He just ain't gonna make it to year 3. He's gonna be gone. Brandon know that, and Donald Trump knows that. And many of the Republicans are starting to wake up and starting to put plans and being on the right side of shit and getting this fool up out of here. As they realize what they supported, it's gonna still be F these Republicans who finally are starting to wake up and get their little knee walking minds opened up and getting rid of this fool. And then Patricia Shelton in the building, salute. TB in the building, salute. Midtown Throw says, Red says, what another good topic. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Appreciate that. Asia Mass saying salute to the chat. Says World War III says is his trump card. Says y'all won't be able to remove him from presidency. Says during an active world war. Nah, they'll remove that fool. He'll definitely be gone. The elections will take place. They'll still get the elections going on. There probably won't be full scale war here on this here on the soil here. And Michael Johnson in the building. Salute, salute. But they're going to block that. Same thing. They want to block his war powers because they see the direction this dude is trying to drag this country into. And the fact that now the possibilities of full scale war against allies to this country and even our neighbors as a possibility where this fool want to take a war, where he wants to take America down. We ain't never had issues with Canadians, Mexicans like that. Nicaragua, no, it wasn't fools he just invaded. Venezuelans and all this other shit. It's all made up in Trump's goddamn ridiculous ass mind. And the fact that Trump looks at that or was told this by some of the young degenerates within that goddamn party that he has, and feeding him information on where to go in here and rob weaker nations on some pirate shit. And these actions aren't going to work for him. And then when you look here on the home front, there are nothing but attacks on the American people by this administration, by little bimbo ass blondes he done pointed into his DEI ass administration, or where none of these people are qualified for the positions they hold. But he has everything to say about fucking diversity in this country. The equity that people have toward this is our country, our stakes in this country, our piece of the pie is here. And that's the equity we have. And also the fact that we are going to be included. Ain't nothing Trump can do about that shit. And nothing these scumbag ass corporations who follow along with that plan. And that's where a lot of this capitalistic shit has to be broken apart. Because what's behind that shit? What supports this ideal of, you know, the fake ass free enterprise about what the capitalistic system is? And then you hear these fools coming in here with the little Jedi mind tricks of it's too big for government. Government is too efficient. We allow the corporations and their cronies to come in here and operate this shit. Let's pass and shift over the wealth. Like, get the fuck out of here. This is where we deal with this dilemma where corporations are buying up every damn thing. And then Michael Johnson says, all these motherfuckers who voted for Trump says need to suit up, says, and hit the front lines. Absolutely. My kid won't be serving in the Donald Trump war. Donald Trump can escalate all these damn conflicts around the world, but none of his degenerate DNA will have a hair plucked from their goddamn head. Let alone they want to send other people's kids to go die in some goddamn purposeless conflict this dude has started. That's the other crazy shit. That these people can ignite so much shit, be so against the people, and then on the other front, fool people into thinking this is about America and patriotism, and we unite, America stands strong, as they go into nations to start shit, only for them to bring companies in there and steal shit. Like, man, the whole ideals behind a lot of this shit, the wars and the shit these people can start when they get in these positions and be irresponsible than a motherfucker. And they want to send other people's kids to go die in their bullshit. Fuck these fools. And it goes even like back what I be saying about Bush. And as much because I'm really deeply into that 9/11 shit and looking at the wars that Bush ended up starting as a result of 9/11, to where war wasn't the answer to that shit. The war didn't resolve a goddamn thing, but add to the population of tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people who will be forever in need of assistance from a mental standpoint, the wounds and all that other shit, these people from physical standpoint, the wounds for veterans returning from that shit, but ultimately the mental effects of that shit. But let alone none of these dirty old, decrepit ass old Anglo motherfuckers have any DNA that has fallen any of this shit that these fools have started. And then you find out the wars were for nothing. And the wars haven't even resulted in anything. Ain't nothing that resorted from any of that shit. The outcomes are fucking zero-based outcomes. They can talk about winning the war on a standpoint of the statistic of how many people died in this shit, and that's the score they keep. But what are the outcomes? Did you stabilize the country? Did you make it better? Did you weed out the so-called terrorists and threats to the country? Absolutely not. And war wasn't the answer to that shit. Shit was to gain this intel, find out who are the players behind that shit, go after the little small cell of people, arrest them, capture them, knock them off. But send people on a 20-year fucking war that didn't result in anything, wasn't going to resort in anything. You knocked off the leaders. This is how I think all war should be. Even if countries of view, if they have to go to a conflict with America, you go after the motherfucker that started it, not the people. Simple as that. You go after, like they went after Mandura and they could execute them if they wanted to. Same thing. Nations want to go to war here. You go after the leader, take them out. Simple as that. You know where the fuck these fools reside at. And then Michael Johnson says, right, Red says, imagine Obama says hiring a bunch of thick black females, says dime pieces. That's what Obama administration looked like. Trump can't find a dime piece. A bitch with blonde hair doesn't make her a dime piece. Them bitches look raggedy over in the Trump administration. Trump ain't the standard in America. Trump don't know what beauty is. Fools ran Miss America and every single one of the bitches look basic as fuck. They ain't nothing but little bitches that are prodded through by, certain people of a certain economic status who don't know shit about America, don't know shit about beauty, don't know what a bad chick is, don't know what to do with a chick besides being tricks. We got tricks running America. Straight up simps. These bunch of fucking Figaro, what they call them people who be paying for hoes, Johns. We got a bunch of Figaro Johns running America. And never follow no clown like no Donald Trump. And that's the funny thing, man. I seen the thing earlier. I forget who I seen. I think I seen on Slauson Girls channel. Who was a black journalist, a young black female journalist out of LA, out of South Central LA. And she was posting that with the district attorney out there. Now they're starting to gear up the crackdown. So they're gearing up the operation of cracking down on Figaro and stuff. Now all of a sudden, because guess what? Economics. They give two damns about the damn people. It's all about filling everybody's pockets up with money at a certain level in this hierarchy and shit. And the money will start maybe from the one little block in the top of the pyramid. Let's say it's about 7 blocks in a pyramid. The top block is going to receive this money in which they looking at. These fools want to build stadiums every goddamn city over some sporting event, coming in these annual events, these bids for cities to win shit. You build up pointless ass stadiums that are never used for shit, only to get people around the world to continue on with they goddamn Roman ass entertainment and shit. And then they all leave and forget this damn city. And then now the city ignores this crackdown and certain shit around the plague in the city and shit. So now that the Olympics is coming up, I don't know if LA getting a World Cup as well. And then now they want to crack down on prostitution and shit. And then they're going to start cracking down on the people buying it. But guess what? As they do this is going to be the funny discovery from all this shit. Because everything's a racial thing inside this country and shit. And what it's going to look like. The people who are going to be arrested, and especially in this community, because mainly a black and Latino community over there. But the people they're going to be arresting for buying the cooch, it's going to be white guys who are going to look like that district attorney and every other little political official out there in that city. And it's going to be a bunch of Latino dudes. Those are the ones out here paying for pussy. Boy, they're going to give a warning that they're going to arrest them so that the Johns disappear. But some of these people can't control their urges. They'll still be driving through this. They see women are scantily dressed and not covering anything, walk around in G-strings and bikini bras and looking at it, can't resist that shit. and knowing they going home to some old degenerate Miss Piggy looking bitch. And now they desire these little chocolate ass chicks and shit. And now the LAPD and sheriffs watching this shit and be like, damn, do we arrest our own? And I don't know about this. Our jails are really filling up with people who look like us. They do not fit the statistics that we're looking for. And now they have to abandon ship and give warnings. They may give out a lot of warnings, pull these guys over and say, this is a warning. You get back to Orange County, all right? Get out of here, eh? That's what's about to go on. It's all about just a lookout for money and give two fucks about the people. Shit's crazy. Lysing Kuda says, what do you think of the administration finally banning large institutional investors from buying single family homes? This shit is a great motherfucking step. It's a great step, but it's also Trump going after institutions that he don't like that are buying up this shit and deciding to go after them. Is it where he cares about the damn people? Absolutely not. But that's why I always talk about this shit. Why I wouldn't buy a fucking house in a, like always right fashion, even without me knowing about large corporations buying up all this shit. I knew something was wrong in the system. The pricing and the way that pricing just jumped following the recession and recovery of this country, and then watching homes just balloon. Vegas is like one of the worst places for that shit. It was like none of this shit makes sense. And then now it comes out, oh, there's corporations buying up all the fucking available housing out here and shit. And then these politicians are the ones who allow this shit. Grease their palms, pay them under the table, behind the back of buildings, and then they start turning a blind eye or leave loopholes in laws that allow these fools to come in there and inflate the pricing on shit. And you get some people just rushing out there feeling like they need a house and have to become a homeowner and fulfill the American dream. And none of this shit is a fucking reality. Like I said, I pay attention to home prices all fucking day. Watch that shit. Maybe I'll go should get a license, but I wouldn't want to sell nobody no homes like that. That's the only reason to stop me from the thing that disgusted me from, I'm not a money hungry motherfucker. I'm not a peon ass person like a lot of people. And to stop me from getting a real estate license, because I always wanted one, but I'm looking at the housing. I wouldn't dare sell nobody none of this shit. I'm not about to rob nobody for the fucking price of this shit. And then now it's coming out all these damn companies that have brought shit that is imploded. I mean, not imploded, but inflated the fuck out of shit. And then it's going to implode. And maybe at the point it implode and bring prices back down to a realistic level, maybe I want to get a license and want to sell homes to people and shit. But outside of that, just doing shit for money and to rob people, I wouldn't be part of that shit. And then there was another point with the makeup on that shit. But being with that, that was also my other point about when just seeing shit and knowing what the fuck ain't right. When I get out the military, there's all this shit dealing in housing as well. When people are looking at, oh man, the homes cost all this and shit. Man, we getting $1 million. Everybody getting real estate and fucking refinancing on people's shit. And everybody just into this home buying thing. Everybody was into that shit. Even people, man, you got the GI Bill. Use a GI. Man, I'm not using that shit. I'm like, man, something ain't right. Even the homes in the neighborhoods we come, like even violent areas, were going up to $500,000 back in the early 2000s before all that shit collapsed. I was looking like, hell no, I'm not dare buying none of this shit. And then plus there wasn't no real security and jobs. I'm just now rolling into a job. I want to live in the area that I feel. I know where the hell I would want to live. I wasn't about to buy none of this shit. By the time I come out, all these homes that were before I left the military, I'm only gone for 3 years. That's how rapid the change was inside of society. The homes over there was like, before I left, was maybe the 190s to maybe $200,000. By the time I returned back to LA 3 years fucking later, the homes over there are in the $500,000 fucking dollar range. Some of them are higher than that. I'm like, and then everybody I know who ain't never gave a fuck about school, ain't never learned nothing, they got real estate licenses and shit. Refinance this shit. I'm like, hell no. I'm like, something ain't right. I don't know the market, but I'm really a motherfucker who figure out shit. I'm far from a dummy, and then watch all these motherfuckers lose everything. Everything. Because these goddamn wealthy people who are never going to feel the effects of that shit can collapse it and watch everything fall apart in this house of cards, and the country goes after saving these people in the top penthouses of this goddamn hierarchy inside this in this pyramid inside the American hierarchy. Just watch all these people suffer and shit, but save these fucking wealthy people. And then now the bailout money, what do the wealthy people immediately go out there and do? Paying themselves bonuses and shit. Like, fuck up out of here. But yeah, I see Trump doing that shit, but it's probably Trump just targeting the companies he don't like doing that shit. He immediately go back in there and bring his own company in there and buy up shit. And then Jerry says, "Hey, Red says Trump's your president for 3 more years. Says Mega here forever. Cheers. Fuck Mega. Fuck you and your mama." And then Boxing Scholar says, Jerry says, "Why do you like Trump?" He liked Trump because he want to be a little Epstein girl. Trump is a little fucking. Trump reminded him of the priest that used to fucking play with him in the altar, in a little altar and shit. And he says the Boxing Scholar, he says most effective president in U.S. history. And Jerry don't mean none of that shit. Y'all love going back. Y'all gotta realize when you talk to people and they don't believe none of the shit they talk about. None of that shit. They just want to troll. Man, I see through that shit all day. Man, I wish y'all just walked around with meta glasses so y'all can hear the conversations I be having with people who look like Jerry out here. Oh, I be eating these fools up. Eating their souls, homie. I be killing these folks. Maybe I need some meta glasses. I want to record that shit. And then he says, Jerry more effective than FDR. And he's talking about yes. And then the Boxing Scholar says you're being disingenuous. Or says, are you don't know enough about history. Man, Jerry is a bum ass West Virginia mountaineer who live in the Appalachians and shit. And then Michael Johnson says most effective, says we're good, still high, says no shortage of street drugs, says healthcare, says he says no healthcare, says F and yo ass about to go to war. Trump don't know what the fuck he doing. He ain't improved shit. And that's the other thing. I'm glad you brought the drug shit. And the fact that him shooting boats, it ain't stopped nothing. I don't see nobody getting cleaned up in these motherfucking streets. Every day, multiple new drug addicts are born to the goddamn streets, or fall victim to the streets. More and more people fall victim to homelessness in this goddamn country. There's no reduction in none of that shit, because guess what? Trump gonna give one fuck about none of it. He can give one fuck at it. He don't look at anything, evaluate things for what they are. He doesn't have a solution to shit, how to resolve shit. His things is to take the extreme angles on this shit and just figure out greater ways of fucking shit up. And then he votes like a bull. It's almost like a bull. How they say when bulls see red, they become angry. He sees some blue shit on the map and he immediately go in there and want to target that shit. And he only wants to attack the American people. Anything that's meant to give what they'll call entitlements to American people is to strip that shit away and then to redirect the funds meant for these programs for actual citizens who work, who sustain this country, and then pass it over to the wealthy, who are the true welfare recipients of this nation. And then in the Boxing Scholar says FDR says why we have term limits. And then Jerry says, okay, he says, whatever you say. And then he says LBJ says pass civil rights. And he says Lincoln freed the slaves. And he freed the slaves because he realized, damn, these slaves are some real killing ass motherfuckers. We put guns in their hands when these white folks have had guns for the last 200 years and they out here on this battlefield getting fucked up. And then Jerry says FDR says was effective. Says different times. Says not nearly as much opposition that Trump has to deal with. Trump ain't dealing with shit, homie. Trump ain't Obama. What are you talking about opposition? Fuck up out of here. Acting like Trump going through some goddamn oppression. You gotta be dumb as hell. And the Boxing Scholar says, what has Trump done? And they're going back and forth. Says if you don't know, says you don't know. Says you don't. Says if you don't know, says you not want to know. The fuck you do not want to know. And he says won't spend time telling you. He says FDR says dealt with corporate greed, says end the depression. He says because you can't, you going back and forth with Jerry. He says, okay, he says whatever you say. He says enjoy the next 3 years and mega movement for life. Mega movement is dying. Mega movement falling apart. Mega movement and going in through an internal eating. They're eating each other alive is what's happened over there. They have to feast on one another because they have starved everything else around them that, helped to sustain the ecology of fucking Mega has died off. And now they have to go about eating themselves for survival. And pretty soon we know how that ends. Everyone ends up extinct. And that's what's happening to Mega. And it's happening fast. And then Deuce Time, another Trump supporter, Cuzzo, he says, wait until we find out about the influence of the corporate. Wait till we find out about the influence of the corporations in the auto industry. Oh, absolutely. The corporations have been allowed to be too large. I think the mistake was made in bailing these fools out, allowing them to make the mistakes they made to damage the economy. And then they run right to the government. The government helps to bail them out. And then it was a hard thing. If y'all was a president, could I have said, nah, fuck these companies. Let everything crash and burn. I think it should have been done. I think if anything, before you bail out these companies and then to give, lifelines to CEOs who fucked everything off, none of these executives are going to prison. You're not arresting these fools. And even when some of these CEOs get arrested, you get powers to certain presidents who are friends with these motherfuckers to commute their fucking sentences and shit. When these fools should be left the prison to fucking rot away. And to be honest about the penitentiary system, yeah, there's people who belong in prisons, absolutely, but the prisons in America should be filled with the wealthy white elites. Prisons should be covered in white DNA. Should be filled to the brim with these motherfuckers, because this is where the actual corruption and the crooked shit within this nation occurs. Like, it happens at this damn level. These people are lazy, no work ethics, no morals behind them, that are constantly doing shit that are in violation of the fucking laws. And there's blind eyes turning these fools. But a person can walk in there and steal a Snicker and damn near lose his life when law enforcement shows up to go for the arrest of this dude, to capture this dude, and weapons are drawn. If he resists too much, he'll lose his life. And if he's detained, goes through his court trial, he'd be spending the next 20 years in that motherfucker over stealing. You are in possession of the corporation of Mars LLC and corporation, and you have tried to sabotage the earnings of this precious American institution, better known as a chocolate company. We went through to receive this commodity known as cocoa and all that, and here you are stealing it. You must serve your time out. And then the executive who doing all type of little corrupt, fucking sick-minded shit can walk away from shit, destroy the economy, get bailed out. None of them go to jail. None of them barred from even practicing fucking business and all that shit. It's a crazy thing, but it's a thing that's going to be eye-opening to the dummies. And Trump is going to show you. Trump is showing all y'all that. Especially my cousin who still think he going to get a check. He ain't about to get shit. And he want to keep believing it, because guess what is also hard for my cousin? To realize I'll be right on every goddamn thing. I'll be right in the motherfucker, homie. This shit is not hard to tell, man. You can see everything. The predictions are made. We got to deal with simpletons running shit. Ain't nothing complex with these fools. Everything I've been saying, even before this motherfucker sat in office, boom, they been on some Nostradamus shit with this shit. You didn't even tell shit with regular people. We got millions of years of history on people, and just the psychology of motherfuckers, thousands of years, hundreds of years on the psychology of people. Hundreds of years in the way in which fucking world leaders behave, their decision making, their behavioral patterns, all that shit. And even the impulses of regular ass people. The last scholar says, the Deuce, he says, back to you, scholar. The scholar says, Jerry says, Charlie thought he would run for president eventually. He said, Charlie better think about his damn neck wound. Imagine if Charlie Broad was the motherfucking first lady. Oh my God, they'll be running orgies in that motherfucker on Erica Kurt. That bitch is super slut. And then in the Boston Scholar says, you never know. And they going back for. I'm gonna skip some of that. This is you and Jerry. He said, Brother Deuce said, you see, ICE shot that American citizen and killed her, and then shot 2 more American citizens. And they don't look like, I don't think they were coming over the border and criminals. They look very white. They look Jerry-like. Bunch of Jerry-looking motherfuckers, ICE agents out here shooting when they supposed to be shooting the immigrants. Mighty strange and mighty sellout to me. I think the ICE is a bunch of coons. I think Trump done hired a bunch of coons and ICE. They in there shooting their own goddamn people. Ain't that some shit? These fools come from all this old white power ass shit. It ain't nothing but coons. Or maybe they gonna justify by saying we shooting a bunch of in lovers, Latino lovers, and border jumpers. The lovers of border jumpers. We shooting them. They got a bunch of mixed kids. Honorable Sir Trump. That's the reason why I did it. Are you sure about that? Yeah, let's go check it out. Baby daddy white than a motherfucker. Oh my God, we hired a bunch of coons and ICE. And then how does ice taste with a little bit of coon on it? Oh my God. Cold shit, right? And then the boxing scholar says, Jerry says you might be healthier than Trump. And then he's saying, and with a question, the boxer sparring says, I used my VA loan in 2009 to buy my house. Says in San Diego, says best decision ever. Yeah, you made shit. Look at the date. No, look at the year you brought that shit. I wish I would have fucking been able to buy that shit in 2009. You probably brought your shit at fucking that house may have been the year before some half a million, probably even a million. That shit probably was down to fucking $300,000 and $200,000 when you brought that shit. Best decision ever. It says nobody was buying homes. Says because the market had crashed. Man, I can only read part of a fucking statement and already be knowing what's the deal with it. The rest of these bozos in the chat, majority of them don't know shit when you put that. You could have just left that 2009. I was already knowing what the shit was going down. I wish I would have brought some shit back then. And he says, and then at that time, that's man, 2009, I was different mind state too, come out the military. And he said nobody was buying homes, says because the market had crashed, says still have that home, says till this day. Hell yeah. Ain't no man, I think homes are about living in them. Homes ain't about flipping, buying, and then going this home. That's why I be saying, man, I'm buying a house, I'm living in that motherfucker. Not buying a house I don't want, just to be years later go, I don't trust the way these fools have this system structured. I buy a house, I'm gonna want to live in that motherfucker. And then you also have to look at it. How does this neighborhood change down the line? What are going to be the changes in this community? It can be like how South Central turned around. And then you're dealing with a bunch of fucking ignorant pieces of shit living around you and shit. But yeah, you brought the house at the right motherfucker. That's what I'm hoping for occurs under this Trump administration. And I know it's going to occur that everything falls out and it begins to look like 2009. And I go in there and finally use my GI Bill. If not, motherfucker can expire for. I give a fuck because I ain't buying none of this shit. And then the boxing scholar says do it, says have to put it in bold for you, Jerry. Jerry says you walk around in a worn out U-neck, says t-shirt, says you ain't shit. Man, I could walk around with this U-neck t-shirt, show up to a family event at your house, pull my motherfucking dick out, and all the women in your family will run over to suck the motherfucker. And then guess what else they say? I want to have your baby. I say, come on, hoes, let me drop the load. I drop the load right in front of all you motherfuckers. Fuck your wives. And then tell you, take care of my baby, bitch. Right in front of y'all. I'm a motherfucking weakness to the women in Jerry family. I'm a weakness over there. Jerry know that shit. Them hoes probably be watching. He probably banned his wife from watching this shit when I'm on here. Cause that bitch go out there and you know they ain't got no money. That bitch then crafted a little fucking tube shape. Had Jerry out there go in the woods, cut down the tree, shape this shit in the shape of a fucking cucumber, and she be on here when she watching me, connecting that through a fan blade vibrating on the end of it, letting that shit rattle all on that worn out dinosaur clip she got. Yeah, so she be looking at me as shit like a motherfucker. That motherfucker Jerry and them can't stand my black ass because of women in that old Appalachian hillbilly ass family would love to let me drop the load and shit. I'll drop a load on them like a Venezuelan cargo ship. Just dump all that fuel in them hoes. Yeah, I'm oil tanking them hoes. God damn it. Jerry says, I got no money, huh? Says, let me know, says, when you want to compare tax returns, man. We can compare. Look, Jerry, I can show an unemployment check and I can still dump the load on them Jerry fucking females. On all the Jerry females, I can dump a load and be broke. I ain't gotta pay for shit. I ain't gotta take them hoes on no date. This is like I never do, and still drop a load on them hoes. Y'all fucking weak ass fucking family. And then Dusan says I seen that scholar says it's a case, it's a case of fuck around and find out. And then Brandon got the popcorn and rolling. And then Boxing Scholar says, let me see how far I'm beyond the comments. It's like 10 minutes. He says, dude says, how you against Big Brother? Says, but support that. Dudes don't know what he is, like a lot of these fools don't. They just conflicted and shit. And he says they work for the government, brother. And then Brent Washington, who's a Trump lover, delusional, don't be knowing what the hell he talk about. He talking about crime session. Homie, this is a real session of a real American, a veteran at that. That makes me a patriot, right? A true patriot speaking on a treasonous fool sitting in the White House who is going to be put up out of this mug. Jerry says maybe Trump should take advice from a broke ass fool says in a worn out t-shirt. Absolutely. Absolutely, he should. He'll learn how to deal with his woman too. That bitch in there pimping Trump. Like y'all fools sitting, I ain't never seen us deal with a damn first lady who got an attitude like that bitch. Trump ain't got no pimping. He a hoe. That's why he mad every time you look up. I'm a fool talking about he got $1 billion in his account with an angry bitch. Hey, get the fuck out of here. I'm a billionaire and I got a bitch that's mad all day. Trump is a hoe, homie. The real boss is that little foreign agent bitch he got there. That little motherfucking KGB ass bitch he done married, named Melania. There ain't no way I'm a billionaire and a bitch got an attitude every time I look up. Bitch, you will be replaced. The motherfucking country we don't give a fuck about Melania. Neither do we give a fuck about Trump. But I'm president ain't there. You ain't even got an attitude, bitch. I'm put the executive order. Get this bitch out of here. Like fuck that. Hey, ICE, take this hoe up out of here. And that's what let me become president. Melania getting deported. Donald Trump getting deported. That whole bloodline getting deported because they're fucking immigrants. And along with Jerry too. Jerry immigrant too. He can go on too. But like I say, but the women in Jerry family can stay because I need to drop my load. I'm loaded up. Before they leave, let me load them up like an oil tanker. Then I'm going to ship them home. I'll push the bitches. I'm going to bust my load in these broads. Where you at, Jerry? You say you in Maryland? I know there's a port over in Maryland. I'm going to bust my load on these hoes in Jerry family right on the coast somewhere in Maryland and shit. What's that, the Potomac? And then I'm going to push them bitches out in the water over back where I'm going to find out the coordinates. Where they come from, they from fucking Transylvania. All right, where that motherfucking coordinates is, let me see. That'd be 098 degrees. All right, get this bitch out of here. If she loaded up, yeah. There you go. Turn the power on with this bitch. Yeah, fucking Jerry Slayer, that motherfucker. Like I say, they love us, Jay. I can't help it. And then Lyson Clear says, is that the legendary Jerry Tasker? Either laughing out loud. And Michael Johnson says, Jerry being a millionaire says, don't mean you know what you're doing. Says, i.e., Trump was lost. Says, Trump was lost. Says, a fraud case. Says, it failed. How many businesses? Exactly. And then the Boston Scholar says, no, says, that's mega, Jerry. And then Deuce Time says, who bailed out the companies? Says Barrio, says that's who. No, many of the Congress people, and he went along with that, signed it off like any of these fools to do. But that was Congress. And then Jerry says, I don't know who he writing that to, that might be for Michael. It says, how about being twice elected president? Says president of you, says us, says, guess that means nothing also, huh? You know, he writing in caps. I guess that's supposed to mean yelling or some shit, which is the dumbest shit I ever hear people say about caps. Says, and by the way, Trump is a multi-billionaire, says he put Nest or something. Fool, that's the other thing I'm talking about. Ain't no way I'm a multi-billionaire and got a bitch with an attitude. And this fool is like, he like Cesar Chavez. He got somebody else's kid nigga raising and shit. Ain't no way. Trump a fucking little regular sized motherfucker. And he got a son that's fucking down there 8 feet tall and can't dunk. That's the only reason why Trump think it's his kid, because the nigga ain't got no goddamn abilities. He like the white version of Chris Sean baby and shit. This motherfucking kid, 7 feet tall, straight Larry Bird DNA in him. Kid ain't got a jump shot. Kid can't shoot. The kid is just uncoordinated as fuck. And so Trump believes it's his son, but goddamn, look at this. Just look at this motherfucker. Fuck that. Put Trump's son try to join the girls' basketball team and shit. That's why Trump been on that banning transgender shit. Cause his son tried to join the girls' basketball team. Cause his dad don't like him and shit. Motherfucker ain't got no man like shit. None of his sons got man like shit to him. You bump them motherfucker. You know how you bump shoulders with a motherfucker? Them fools are fucking be in the hospital over that shit. You got this motherfucker playing all this man shit, and these fools weak than a motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here. And then and the license clear says I remember when Reg says when Reg lost the debate to Jerry Tasker, it says, and then Auto Boxing says got reprimanded for buck dancing. Now Reg ain't never lost a debate to nobody on here. Not once. And Jerry was the one mad over a stupid ass boxing debate. That's how I know how degenerate Jerry is. Boxing debate on some dumb topic he wanted to talk about. And then y'all voted against him. Y'all voted. These Negroes voted on. So Jared was mad at y'all like Trump mad at black folks for not voting for him when he lost that election. So he going after y'all. The Negroes disappointed they master. And the Jerry says, light skin says, you know it. Says straight owned his ass. And he says, fact the light skin clean this hater breaded. Michael Johnson says, Jerry Case says, Jerry, case y'all fall for disinformation is why Trump's in. And then Brandon in there laughing. And then Lacey Cletus in there laughing. And then Michael Johnson says, Jerry says, because y'all fall for disinformation. Because these fools is dumb. They dumb to the motherfucker. That's why I like they women. Love rubbing on they women flat asses and shit. And then D Bevel in the building. Salute to D Bevel in the building. He says Trump strikes a deal by watching Benjamin Netanyahu and Jared Kushner. Says run a train on Melania. Says Trump is mega. Says make Israel great again. Absolutely, that's exactly what he is. And his wife makes the deal. She go out there and prostitute herself out and shit, and make old cut President Trump watch. This fool is a billion. I never get over the fact this fool is a multi-billionaire and got a bitch with an attitude, with a manly face, and watching and supporting this broad, raising some other motherfucker kid. You know, Trump ain't really there raising the fucking kid. But the motherfucker over there, definitely somebody's son out the NBA and shit. Ain't no telling. He should probably mess with some old Russian athlete and shit. It definitely ain't Putin's, because Putin a little motherfucker. And then in the box sparring says, have you seen that Christy Martin movie? Hell no. Nah. He says that shit was pretty good. Broski says she went through hell, says with her coach / husband. I do not want to. I ain't even gonna watch Carissa Shields. Let me not publicly say that shit. But I don't really watch boxing movies. I don't want to watch boxing movies. Like, I haven't even watched Ali movies. So to me, it'd be disrespectful to not watch a movie about Ali, but watch movies on these other people. Absolutely not. If anything, I'd rather watch a documentary. I'll get enough from knowing their story that way. The other shit, I'm not a Hollywood supporting motherfucker. I'm just not, bro. I'm so like revolutionary and forward thinking and shit that I ain't got to follow trends and movies to not rock with certain shit. I just not a Hollywood person. Like, why does an actor have to tell a story? Like, I'll watch her do interviews, speak on her story, and maybe watch a documentary, if anything. But to not have seen the Will Smith playing Muhammad Ali movie, I would never watch these other people boxing movies. I never even watched Rocky like that. I never even watched Rocky. Like how I hear people talk about Rocky, it intrigues me to watch it because I hear the way people break down Rocky and it'd be intriguing. I never watched Rocky fully like that. I've seen scenes in movies from Rocky, and that's where I've been with a lot of movies. And may have seen on TV a commercial come on, I never turn back to watch the shit, but I never fully watched Rocky. And also the fact that when I'm watching Rocky and this dude beating up black dudes, and then you go to watch actual boxing and white dudes be getting beat the fuck up, and then you go watch Rocky, he the baddest nigga. Like, I wouldn't dare watch that shit. Always been like that. It's always been the black type person I've been. I don't watch that shit. I'm not caught up in made up fake ass shit. I'm just not into it. I'm like, even when I watch movies today, when I see a bunch of fake ass shit, the movie, that's why I don't go to movies. That shit pissed me off. Actually, my kids think I'm the funniest motherfucker ever with movies. Cause I sit in the movie and be ready to walk the fuck out, but knowing they be watching that shit and I gotta sit through this bullshit. I'd be like, man, I do not like stupid shit. Like this shit fake, the shit they do with artificial intelligence in movies. What they call that shit? CG or some shit. Whatever that shit they was calling it, the computer generation generated shit. Let me see. My cousin says boxing conversation says, but don't follow boxing conversation says what a fucking nincompoop. I'm still a boxing fan. Boxing comes on, I cover it. But no, what you got is a real boxing fan who don't cover this bullshit. The drama queen shit of boxing. Because anytime you hear people who took cover boxing, so imagine me cover boxing. I'll be boxing is supposed to be a sport with warriors. But when you watch channels that are action boxing channels, what the fuck do they talk about? He a duck, he this and that. Fuck that boxing, fuck like get the fuck. I won't cover that shit. He says boxing in says boxing inquiry says with reaching Reg. Deuce, I know you mad because I'll be right, homie. But you ain't got to be jealous. Just accept what the truth is. I'll be speaking some real shit, homie. It just don't fit the agendas and narratives and the little cognitive shit y'all brought into. Somehow y'all been brought into believing the deranged shit that y'all believe in. And you hate a motherfucker like me who just gonna go with, I just support with what's real. Or when I learn real. And even if things that I've thought and in my beliefs and certain shit, not even beliefs, I ain't got beliefs like that because they can always change. Or things that I think I may have known. And if I'm wrong, guess what? I transition on that shit. Because I gotta go with what's right, homie. Not a kid, not here to lie about shit, not to believe in lies. Nigga too old for that shit. And then Brandon got the caps in here, which you know is the truth. Anytime I speak some truth for shit, Brandon put a cap. So I'll be appreciating that shit. Cause that's when nigga know. Nigga telling the real. And then the box smart says, Brandon says, still active duty, homie. And then Jerry says, says, you've been wrong all along. Says you said Kamala was going to be president. Reggie ain't say nothing about Kamala being president. Once Donald Trump won the election, Kamala wasn't president. Kamala never been president. Kamala was a vice president. So what are you talking about? Jerry, that shit does not work here with Reggie fucking Owens. It may work with other people, but you know what it is, Jerry. I'm just unlike any other motherfucker y'all be coming across. That's why y'all ain't cussing to hearing a motherfucker talk like me. And then Brandon says, the boxer says I was talking to Ridge, bro. And he says he in there saying salute to you, Brandon. And then Jerry says, I got no money, huh? Says, let me know when you want to compare tax returns. Let's definitely compare tax returns. And then Michael Johnson Jerry got a lie, says got a live-in hostage. Yeah, Jerry be out there in the woods stealing pussy and shit. Bitch go out there to go jog with her dog. Jerry throw a bag over and shit. Throw a net over and shit. That nigga got nets tied to the top of a fucking tree. Oh, little lily blonde head, little bimbo running through the forest, running with her dog. Jerry done dropped the net on top of her head, looking through his fucking binoculars and shit. And he pulled a string that dropped bricks on 4 sides of the net and trapped this bitch. He tied the bitch and dragged her through the rest of the forest on the back of his horse. This fool straight up got a dungeon in his house. A fucking seeker and take her ass fucking Jerry. Oh, night stalking motherfucker. Brandon in there rolling. And Deuce Time says, y'all niggas is lost. Says, I told you, says I'm a centrist. That means the center of your mind is just spinning with bullshit. That's what's the center of shit. The center of your brain just spinning and don't know what the fuck going on. And he says, your opinions have no dominion over me. Sure they don't, Deuce. And then Mike Johnson says, you ain't never seen Trump says, get a kiss on the lips, says by his wife, laugh out loud. Hell no. Nah. If anything, she'd kiss Trump after she done suck somebody off. That's when she'd do that shit. That's the type of disrespectful broad she is. She'll go dome a motherfucker up, see Trump and the camera's on, and kiss that motherfucker. But she still don't even want to deal with that fool. Ain't no way I'm gonna be a billionaire dealing with an angry bitch. Like, ho, you gotta go. Man, you see me as president, I'm gonna have changed out multiple bitches. Y'all gonna see me with a bunch of hoes. They'll be mad at me. I have little blonde head hoes for maybe a week. Give me a brunette chick for a week. I have bitches with BBLs. I'm gonna have thick ass black chicks. I'm gonna get an African. I'm gonna get a bitch out the motherfucking Sahara Desert, homie. She gonna be so motherfucking dark. I'm gonna piss all these little backwood redneck motherfuckers who do nothing but fuck goats and shit. Be pissed off they gonna see this woman so goddamn black. First lady. She may last the first fucking year unless she be like, Reggie, why you treat me like animal? Oh, you got to go. Ice, get her out. I'm gonna have all type of bro. I'm gonna have project broads. I'm about to be the realest president on this planet. Now, if they was to do their job, I'm gonna have them investigate Trump, riding down Figueroa. No, whatever Figueroa in DC, Trump definitely over there because he ain't fucking Melania. He definitely paying for mail order bras. That's the other thing be with white dudes like Jerry. Jerry, who none of the white chicks just find disgusting with him. That's why they go in magazines. They do it online now. And Jerry be ordering bitches from all these poor ass countries. That's how effed up Jerry genetics is. He whacked. The hoes don't even love him. And then and the TV says send Melania back to whatever country she from. Absolutely. She from the dirtiest one in Russia. Wherever they produce like whores in over in Eastern Europe, that's exactly where Melania from. She was trained up as a whore. And Trump picked her and shit. Trump said, I want the filthiest bitch. Which one is ran through? My little pilly whacker doesn't work. and virgin chicks really seem to not like me. I don't know. Yeah, my wood doesn't get up. You know, he couldn't bust through a damn bitch with tight pussy and shit. So he needed one of the most busted through bitches because oh my God, let me stop, homie. Oh shit. But yeah, he found Melania. He wanted pictures of her pussy, and that shit just looked like the Tesla tunnel. That's what that shit looked like. That little tunnel that Elon Musk dug for Teslas to drive under and shit. That's what Melania looked like. She's perfect. I'm in love. That bitch see Donald Trump and just had that little shit look on her face, like she just holding the permanent shit. And then in the news time said Trump probably be just eating her ass and shit. That's all he get to do. He eat Melania ass. That shit's so flat. He just eating all that motherfucking crumb out her ass. Imagine Melania just naked. You just see nothing but just her ass. So she ain't got a cheek to even cover that shit. Then the Deuce Time says the Trump hate isn't stronger than the policy love. Says remain emotional. Says uninformed. Says and I'll be over here. Says counting the change. Those you ain't counting shit. They've been in for a whole fucking year. Deuce is really counting his delusions of Trump payments. Keep on dreaming, my brother. Keep on dreaming. Oh no, let me say, Deuce, keep hope alive, brother. Keep hope alive. And then Patricia Sheldon said, laugh out loud, talk about I'm crazy and shit. With this shit you hear me saying about Jerry. Jerry know it's true. I hope I didn't hurt your feelings too bad, Jerry, but I'm just keeping shit funky. Deuce Time says I seen Big Mike says refuse a kiss from Barry. Says so I guess there's playbooks for Melania to follow. Look, Deuce in there trying to defend Trump because Trump got an angry hoe. Try that fool, Trump Deuce. That's what I'll call it. Trump Deuce mad. Michael Johnson said nobody hating on Trump. Says we just calling it like we exactly. Brandon got it putting the caps in me, and I done said some of the realest shit ever. He put a grip of caps in there. I mean, I done said some super real shit. Jerry talking about stop lying. Jerry know it's true about what I do to them females in his family, what they love and shit. I just pull it down. The bitches come run. They fight. You know how the bitches throw a bouquet at the wedding? That's what the females and Jerry, even Jerry's own wife would do that shit. She'll come running. She'll knock holes over. She come flying like a motherfucker. She got heat-seeking radar on top of her nose and shit. And then Jerry said, but I really get him. If I fucking line my shit with coke, you know, them bros got a little coke addiction. They got them long ass nose over in the Jerry family shit. Jerry pick his bitches by the length of their nose. That's they pick their hoes by the length of their nose and shit on toucan sad looking bitches. Oh my God. Jerry says you don't know shit about boxing, says or anything else really. Says you just like to her your own voice. Oh, this fool Jerry can't even write. He white as a motherfucker. But then again, he is from one of the poorest areas of America, so I know damn well they don't teach anything. Have y'all ever heard Jerry talk? You can just listen to Jerry talk when he call in, and you can just hear Jerry is really slow. Jerry sometimes call the Coach Malachi show, and as soon as he call in, you be like, man, when is this stupid motherfucker gonna hang up? And then I don't know if he still called Mark's show. I even heard him calling the Mark show. Mark probably turned the phone lines off because Jerry be the first one to call in that motherfucker, and Jerry just gonna say dumb shit that you just get tired of it. Like, damn, why this nigga just don't sit in the chat? Like, fuck, I this nigga calling, man. Sit your ass in the chat. Jerry, I'm just here to tell you, nobody wants to hear you call in. Stop calling. Give me your motherfucking opinions on shit. You sound stupid. Shit. Get the fuck off the phone, god damn it. You ain't got nobody to talk to. Go talk to them damn horses and shit. And then Michael Johnson says, Jerry says, so why you us? So why you here? No, I like when people like Jerry over here, they give me some shit to clown on. Yeah, I get to work on I don't want my jokes getting rusty, so I want Jerry in here. Says, yet you can't stop talking about me. Nah, Jerry, you in the chat, brother. I'm reading your comments. I ain't talking about you, Jerry. You in the comments, stupid. The hell you talking about? You think you not here and I think of Jerry? That's a fucking not. But anytime you call a show, everybody be like, can this stupid motherfucker just hang up? Jerry, I know you. I don't even know how you get on. You ain't got a computer. Well, I don't even know how you watching this shit. You over there sneaking in, watching somebody shit through their window. Probably your neighbor watched the show and shit. But when you call in, I know you look at even a host face. They be looking like, can this old backwood degenerate motherfucker hang up? Like, god damn, go in the chat, fool. Super chat. Shit, shut the hell up. And then Brew Deuce Time says boxing conversation says, but don't follow boxing conversation. Says, what a fucking Nipkin poop. And he says, boxing inquiry, he says, we're reaching Reg. Always right with Reg, my brother Deuce. Get it right, my brother. You get it right, and maybe I lessen by 0.000% of what I say about Donald Trump. Jerry says, you are right. Says, you speak real shit. Literally. Absolutely. Speak the realest shit. I'm glad you recognize that, Jerry. I speak the realest shit. And then Deuce Time says, boxing novice says, well, whimsical wedgie. Or, wedgie. And then Jerry says, you said she was going to win. Says, stop lying. Jerry, we don't talk about Kamala. I don't talk about Kamala. Y'all bring up Kamala like I'm going to cry like y'all did when Trump lost. I don't do that. And I think that bothers y'all that I don't do that. I keep things as funky. I keep telling y'all I'm about the realest motherfucker y'all never seen appear on this motherfucker. I don't do none of this shit. Ain't about to cry like y'all. Y'all cried every day, especially Deuces in here. Man, the people got to rally up. Man, they still in the election. Man, votes don't count. Man, they was hiding votes in the trash can, hiding the votes here, man. Hey, stole the election from Donald Trump. Yeah. Get the fuck out. That nigga lost to a nigga with Alzheimer's. And then Brandon Washington says Deucey and they're rolling. And then Deucey says boxing conjecture says Weech and Reggie. And then Brandon says, Deuce says, don't let Reggie trigger you, bro. Man, Brandon, people can't help but to get triggered by me because of this motherfucker that they don't got. This shit that's in this motherfucker, other people don't got, homie. That's why I be trying to teach y'all how to get it. You got to stop being fucking emotional. You got to learn to accept shit for what it is, accept when you wrong, and change it. You got to just accept for shit for what it is. That's what I do. Shit, accept it. Fucked up. It's on me. And you're wrong. You got to not have cognitive dissonance. I'm a cognitive dissonant breaking motherfucker. I break people with cognitive dissonance, and they be hurting their ass. And then they be looking like, man, this motherfucker right. But man, fuck that. I'm be stuck on stupid shit. But man, that shit, it's the voices. I hear the nigga voices tell me that real shit, but I want to believe in stupid shit. That shit, I be fucking knocking their brains. I'm breaking their shit like the ozone layer and shit. These fools got ozone layer in their head and shit. Breaking that shit. Brandon, motherfucking CO2 around this motherfucker. I'm CO2 gas to these dumb motherfuckers' heads. So, I'm slowly breaking these fools, breaking that cognitive dissonance shit. I got cognitive dissonance at the bottom of all my shoes, and I just stomp on niggas' heads with it. And then Michael Johnson says Harris lost the election, says, and only had like 100-something days to run. And then Deuce Time says boxing acquiesce with reasonable Reggie. Yeah, very reasonable, man. Very, very intellectual, man. I'm looking for the intellectual comment because the other ones are ineffective. They ain't even working. But guess what? I'm gonna read every single one of them, Deuce. Because guess what? I respect the chat. And then Jerry says you the president. Says you the president of the UNEC nation. Says yeah, I leave that UNEC so your fucking females in your family can lick on my chest and shit. I like for them to lick across my chest while I'm getting a deep motherfucking long stroke. So I leave that little bit of you. I hang it down. I like to grow hair on my chest when I know I'm about to come around your part of town and shit. Yeah, I want them to lick some black hair and shit. Both kitty tongue bitches. I go to get some kitty tongue licks to my motherfucking hairy chest when I go out to the motherfucking West Virginia where all the damn women in Jerry family at. And I get them long, deep thrusts. I give them half a thrust. It's the most they had in their life and shit. Yeah, I give them bros a half a thrust, and that's the most they had. Oh, Lord. Giving what the slaves used to give them bras back in that time and shit. You fools ain't giving y'all broad shit. So yeah, that's why I wear a U-neck. Wear a U-neck for motherfucking females in your family to lick this motherfucker. And then and Deuce Time says jack of all trades, says, but a master of none, says the ass nigga. Deuce, man, I love that you love how much I'm fucking just the nigga of intelligence, homie. I be speaking the truth, bro. One day you'll break out cognitive dissonance, man. Love my folks, man. You my folks, man. And the Midtown Throw says, I can't wrap my mind around how people think an 80-year-old white boy says, who's a billionaire, says will make decisions that benefit them. Because these motherfuckers is dumb, Midtown Throw. That's why I love telling people how dumb they are. I get a thrill out of just telling people, you's a stupid motherfucker. That's my motherfucking enjoyment. I can just wake up and my day be complete when I come across a stupid motherfucker and let them talk. And then at the end, ready me saying, you're right. I say, you's a stupid motherfucker. And all, man, my day is complete, man. I can do that for a job. You ain't got to pay me. It's like my day complete telling stupid motherfuckers they stupid. That's how I'm going to make America great, by telling people when they stupid. I'm going to start off with the guy that's in the White House. Every day I'm going to speak about how stupid he is, and this Forrest Gump ass motherfucker will wake his stupid ass up and realize I should be listening to Reggie. That's what he is. He's going to be listening to what I say before his ass get motherfucking railroaded up out of this mug. Because that old white shit ain't going to work, Trump. The white shit is dead, just like y'all feel. Just like I'm about to integrate, motherfucker. I'm miscegenate. That's what I'm going to do. I like that word. I'm going to miscegenate the motherfucking degenerate DNA that has infiltrated, that has infested Jerry Tasker's family's DNA. Them women need some chocolate in their life. And he says, median income in America is like 70K. And then Jerry says he can't keep my name out his mouth, says priceless. Jerry, nobody speaks on you. Right in the chat, dummy. You have to learn, man. This is why I'm here to teach. I am a great educator, bro. Like Jerry really think I talk about Jerry. You're in the chat. Nobody thinks about you, homie. Like I said, you call into all these black shows. You don't even call white shows because even white people know you're stupid. But you come on the black shows and they let you talk, but they be like, can this dumb motherfucker get off the damn show? How does motherfucker even see the number in the goddamn thing? And then Brandon, they're rolling. Midtown Throw says America's doomed. Absolutely. America will be rebuilding itself, but I need for it to fall. I need the housing sector of it to fall. And Jerry says, Red says, you better wrap that shit up, said before your mama get off the night shift at McDonald's. Oh yeah, well, she'll just bring me a 10-piece nugget if she wasn't working McDonald's and get off. Yeah. I'd be all this motherfucker eating in y'all faces and shit. While you over there eating horse hay and shit. And then Deuce Time says soapbox boxing testimonies with Reggie Van Jones. Oh, that one was whack as fuck, dudes. Brandon, they're rolling. Michael Johnson says, as soon as Dems get back in, Trump getting the F out of here. Absolutely, as he should. And he's going to be thrown in jail. This is going to be Donald Trump. Let me put this on the screen. I got to make the Trump supporters mad. I got to keep the Trump supporters mad. Let me keep that on the screen for a while. I know how to get these fools. I boil people's blood, homie. And then Michael Johnson said, oh, yeah, I read that one, Brandon, they're rolling. And then Jerry says, yes, you can't stop talking about me. Look, Jerry think that shit gonna work to stop me from talking about Jerry. You write in the chat. The only way Reggie don't speak about you, Jerry, is when I don't read a comment about you. Otherwise, I read everybody's names in the comments. But Jerry keeps loving the right and keeps loving the abuse that I give him about what I'm gonna do to them women in that family. I ain't even gotta seduce them. And shit. And then Jerry says, you have said my name more times than you say, And then Michael Johnson said, Jerry can't type, says, Jerry can't type because he too worried about the says he too worried about the hoe says the hoe of his. He too worried about that hoe of his. And the Deuce Time says Jerry broke into the library, says to use a computer. Yeah, that's where Jerry at. He got fucking the library. They ain't got a library where Jerry at. That motherfucker broke into some other shit. He done broke into some other shit. Them fools so damn dumb up there. They never allowed them the Jerry part, the only white group in America, they never allowed them fools to read books and shit. Jerry nothing but a white version of what black people used to be back in the 1800s. And then Jerry says I wouldn't bring her up either. Says, as wrong as you were, says you embarrassed. Now I don't bring her up, but I'm gonna bring them damn chicks that's related to you up. I'm gonna bring them up and down. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring them women up and down, fucking in your motherfucking family. Yeah, girl, ride a little bit slower. Yeah, I know you ain't never been had this something this deep up in you. And then Jerry says, hey, Red, says your mom still keeps a jar of that, says a jar of that mooey nut, says next to her bed. I don't know what she had because I don't go in her room like y'all do, because that's what y'all be doing to y'all families, Jerry. You go in there and be touching on your mamas, you touch on your sisters and all type of shit. You be trying to learn discover what anatomy on women is through your own family and shit. Trust me, them girls done told me about what's going on in your family, what you didn't try with your motherfucking mama. And then Jerry says I call a bunch of shows. Says I would call you. Says, but you too broke to have a phone. Man, I don't get a phone because I don't want your white ass calling. And then Jerry said last time you said Trump was going to jail, says he became president again. Says, how did that work for you? This shit ain't work for nothing. Give me more opportunity to clown that motherfucker. Because when he gone, I ain't gonna have nothing to clown him about. I enjoy clowning the fuck out of Trump because it make people who name ain't Trump, it makes them the most mad. That's how stupid you motherfuckers is. That's why I love doing this shit. Y'all really don't realize I like doing this shit. Not only to fucking talk the real shit about Trump, but the fact it make people who name ain't even close to Donald Trump mad. Deuce Time name ain't nothing close to Donald Trump, but he managed, if you pay attention to his names, to use Donald Trump's initials in his goddamn YouTube name. See, y'all let that shit went over y'all motherfucking head. It was Deuce Time and up, but Trump in there twice. D and T. Donald Trump. That's how much he a Trump lover. That boy is a real knee walking motherfucker. Oh my God. But I love making people who names ain't Donald Trump, but people who change their names to meet up with Donald Trumps and shit. He couldn't use Donald Trump because YouTube blocked it because Trump probably got YouTube channel name. So he named it out of Trump's initials. That Trump lost the election. Don't worry, Trump. Don't worry. Fucking praying in front of his Trump poster on his wall. And you'll be in there a second time, Trump. Matter of fact, I'm going to honor you with my channel name, Deuce Times. You can do it, Trump. They stole the election. They robbed us, Trump. Don't worry. You will owe us the change when you get back. It is. I love doing these shows because the shit I say, this real shit I be saying about Donald Trump, it makes people who name ain't Donald Trump the most upset. Don't worry, Massa. We are both healed. I know you sick, sir, but I'll sick with you. I will out sick you, sir. Your sickness will pass through you and come into me, and I will battle your motherfucking virus, sir. I will battle the virus, sir. What you got, dementia? I will carry it on for you, sir. I will get on the internet and act like a motherfucking idiotic, no brain functioning idiot for you, sir. I will match what you are. And so y'all get on here to match Donald Trump and just be dumb than a motherfucker. But I like when you write, Jerry, because Jerry, I'm gonna say more of this shit about these girls in your family. I just love thinking about them flat booty broads. And he says, I don't live in my mom's house, but I know you do. Oh yeah, I do see her, but I never see her. We wonder where she at. She ain't here. And then Jerry says we don't have to be mad. Says Trump is the press. Says you hoes lost by a mile. Says and has not been seen. Says you hoes are lost by a mile. and has not been seen since. Jerry, I don't know what the hell you talking about. Reg ain't concerned. Donald Trump is president, and I talk about the president. I don't talk about runner-ups. I don't cry about runner-ups. Therefore, the country is being plunged into a ground by an idiot who's in the White House that dumbasses believe. That dummies believe. Jerry, that shit don't work. God by Sean, I got one more comment for Jerry. I'm gonna read yours. And Jerry says House, Senate, says stack, says conservative Supreme Court, says long game on crazy point. Oh, absolutely. They flipping on Donald Trump too, bro. Just get prepared for the ride, just like the girls in your family ride. They getting prepared for this ride. When Reggie take another East Coast trip, I'm gonna just slide through. I'm gonna just slide meat through and shit. This is what I'm gonna do. I just want to smack the side of them chicks' face and shit. And then God Body Sean says you do you think the world is going back says going back to empires and spheres of influence? No. You just got fucking you got some fucking deranged people, but it's sad when you got poor people who join the military that have to carry the orders of these people, but it's attempts on it. It just shows you how wicked some people are whose only interest of going into power is to dominate over people and display their wickedness and shit. It's just simple as that. Certain other countries, even older countries who have lived under the controls of fucking dictatorships and them, a lot of them are starting to break away from that shit, especially because there's so many of them that have been immigrating here. They come here and get a little piece of this American shit, and then go over here and realize, man, we gotta have a voice. We can't be living under this shit. We can't be living under this shit that old people fucking lived under and just accepted and shit. And that's even like Jerry. Jerry down there 90 years old and stupid as a motherfucker still. He deal with this shit. That's why I used to dealing with what Trump putting out here. He come from the old era, the dumbasses. I'm saying that motherfucker retarded. And he says with China, says one in Taiwan, says Russia one in Ukraine, and how the US is doing stuff in the says in South America, says in threatening Greenland. China just want what used to be theirs and shit, being they got punked by them British ass people and shit. But they should leave that shit alone. It's like, so you gonna go through centuries of trying to re-indoctrinate these damn people? You should have did that shit 100 years. Now you can't. I believe people should have sovereignty, man. Leave motherfuckers the fuck alone. But you deal with that. That's the ills of people in history, and that's this religious mind state. Religious mind state ain't about God and worship and love and all this fake shit they present out of this religious cult is bullshit. And what has governed people is to dominate over people, control their way of thinking, take away people's independence and freedoms and shit, and have a group of people part of a party to where they fight. They're focused on governmental control. Well, a lot of people don't focus on that shit. That's why a lot of people aren't politically connected and shit. And when you get these people, and you have to understand, there's gonna always be a central control to fucking certain states or countries, whatever the fuck you call them. But then you get the wrong people that go into this shit. They just want to dominate over people. And then that's the ill side of shit. And that's where they get in. If the Bible's to tell anything about not worshiping motherfuckers like you fools who names ain't Donald Trump, worship Donald Trump more than Donald Trump's bitch. Donald Trump got a bitch he paying to stay at the White House with him, so he looked like he ain't a fruitcake, which everybody know he is. Like I say, Melania to me may be a tranny and shit. That bitch got she a tranny and shit. Motherfucking Larry Bird's son came out of test tube. And then he says with China one in Taiwan. Oh yeah, I read that one. It says in America threatening Greenland. And an L5 player in the building, another Trump lover from Puerto Rico who ICE be pulling over on a daily. He in the building. He says the man says, and I don't know why you keep using that big red shit. But salute the L5 player, the one who be getting pulled over by ICE on a constant basis. Pretty sure he now has a surfer looking hair and shit, so that when he walks down the streets of New York, they ain't in there roughing him up and shit, slamming him in the ice because it is snowing and shit out there. They slamming this motherfucker L5 player in ice. Motherfucker, I voted for Trump. I belong here. I'm actually Puerto Rican. You goddamn fucking Honduran. Get your ass in this van. Oh, don't even look Puerto Rican and shit. Claiming that shit. That fool probably seen what Trump about to do, try to claim he from Puerto Rico. Man, you look like you straight out of South America and shit. You straight out of South America. You probably try to get over here and went over to Puerto Rico and shit. That's how you end up in here claiming you Puerto Rican. Because you know that one day the immigration shit was coming up and shit. Y'all got these Puerto Rican, knowing them fools over these islands be just making up Puerto paperwork and shit. Everything be fake. They don't know shit about y'all. Y'all just fake all type of shit. They're like Manute Bol in the NBA at fucking 50 and shit. All you fools just be lying coming from them other countries and shit. But for that's all I got. Hey, salute to Miami. I thought Miami was gonna lose. I seen goddamn Ole Miss coming back up on them. Salute to Miami, man. They fucking knocking off some tough ass teams in this damn college shit. And matter of fact, wait, they going to the damn championship, right? Hold on, let me check that. Yeah, I think it's only what's some fools left? Yeah, they going to the damn championship. That's some shit. Miami done made it to the damn thing. Hold on, where this shit at? This fool from Carson Beck done led these fools to the damn thing. Yeah, they going into the title shit. Let me see. Said Beck in his last thing. Didn't Carson Beck win the Carson Beck won the shit too, right? And then Indiana playing Ohio, man. I mean Oregon. I wonder how that game gonna go. I like fucking Indiana. That'd be crazy if fucking Oregon knock off Indiana. So Miami, Carson Beck as transfer portal Beck is going to the champion. But Carson Beck been to a national championship, right? Then somebody put with Georgia's, and he going right back with a new team. He going back with a new fucking team. Wow, and they pulled that shit off. So, that other game is tomorrow. Tomorrow's yet Friday. Oregon versus Indiana, because Indiana is good though. They may whoop Oregon fucking ass. Oregon can play all that fast paced shit all they want. They probably still gonna get their ass whooped. Michael Johnson says, L says, what up? And then Matt F says Indiana, and then he was talking about I wish y'all put the names instead of just putting the like responses to me. Man, I'll be wanting to see people display writing and shit. He meant what's the name? Carson Beck with Georgia. He won the championship with Georgia. And then over here in Miami, for going to the championship. And then TB says, yep, says Miami says was that sleeper team, says I knew would have a chance to go, says and all says the chance to go all the way. Them fools going to championship. Miami is back in that shit. Wow. Salute to Carson Beck. Salute to Carson Beck. But do y'all think the best teams were in that national championship, or were there teams that should have made? I seen them Notre Dame. I'm glad they didn't let Notre Dame in that shit. Fuck Notre Dame. I can't stand that old silver spoon ass goddamn program. But they didn't let them in there, and they was crying like hoes and shit. I was happy to see that shit. But what do y'all think the best teams went into that shit? But then that's crazy. That fool goddamn Carson Beck going right to another championship. But Friday games should be good as hell. Friday games should be real good. That shit's probably gonna be an epic game. If it's close. If it's a close game. Indiana get out there and destroy them fools. Then bring on Miami. I think they're gonna whoop Miami ass though. I think they're gonna whoop Miami ass. I'm gonna definitely catch that shit. But I like that. Good salute to Miami. I know Michael Irvin probably was acting a goddamn fool tonight. He's probably acting a goddamn fool. But folks, that's all I got. I'm about to get up off of this mug. Let me see if there's some news before I jump out of here on this little bitch made president. Let me see what they got on here. It says they talking about they blocking investigation, which I knew the little stanky motherfucker in the FBI department, little stanky Quickie Mike Hapu, little slurpy mixer Patel. That fool was gonna be blocking shit, not letting these fools in to expose it. Let me see. Breaking news: Russia strikes Ukraine. Says with the Orsenit. Oh, so let me see. Some ballistic missile says one of the most advanced weapons. Okay, so it looks like Russia's stepping up some shit. Let me see what this weapon is. See, I know I need to check the news before getting out of here. So is it the first time they decide to use this damn weapon or some shit? Let me see what this weapon is and read up on whatever the hell it is. So they talking about the most advanced weapon is called a Orishnik ballistic missile. Let's see. So Russia strikes Ukraine with one of its most advanced weapons. So what's so advanced about this shit? He said, "Oh, this is that hypersonic missile." So let me type this shit in. Let's type in this hypersonic missile. How many do Russia has? Is Russia able to just keep boom, 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 and that shit? Let me see. Let's check this one out. See what this Orishnik missile. So let's check this one out. See what we got going on here. Hypersonic. So this, oh shit, this motherfucker fast as hell. They talking about this shit is a Mach 10 goddamn missile. Shit down there catching the speed of light. Let me see this shit. So Orishnik ballistic missile. So this is the Russian intermediate range ballistic missile. So intermediate range, how many miles is that? 7,000 miles. Oh, that's the speed. The intermediate ranges, let's see what's the coverage of an intermediate range missile. That can cover, so from almost coast to coast, if you're looking at the east and west of the United States. So between 1,800 miles and 3,400 miles. So they got a capacity it can carry. Says in principle, says there is little differences between high performance or the IRBM, says in low performance ICBM. Says because the says decreasing payload mass says can increase the range over the ICBM threshold. Says the range definition used here says it's used within the U.S. Missile Defense Agency. So let me go back to this damn hypersonic missile. So this was in service in 2025. So it's some new shit. So it's an intermediate range ballistic, meaning it can cover at a maximum of 3,400 range. Says characterized by its reported speed exceeding Mach 10. God fucking damn. That shit can go 7,600 miles. It ain't a plane can fly that damn fast. Says according to the Ukrainian military, says Orishnik says has seen one combat use on November 21st, 2024. Says striking Ukraine city of what is that? Dnipro. Says the missile carries a multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle. Says previously exclusively used by nuclear weapons. Says equipped with 6 warheads. Each reportedly contains submunition. Says so that motherfucker just fly over there. This motherfucker warhead split off, go here. They just dropping out their own shit, fucking your city up. And that's crazy. That's all these countries are developing war departments to say, yeah, let's make a bomb, and in that bomb contains 20 other bombs, and then these bombs release all type of other bombs, and they can just go all over the city and just bomb shit. And then psychologically make these fools think they fighting 100 goddamn jets that flew over, and it's one big ass missile carrying all this shit. That's some cold ass shit. So these fools just developing just some of the most sinister ways of just killing motherfuckers. Says there have been says these have been described as highly difficult to intercept. Says though modern ballistic missile interceptors are designed to counter this type of system. What is that? Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary Sabrina Singh, that must be JD Vance's wife, says has identified the Orishnik as a variant of the RS-26. Ruba says whatever that hell that missile is some Russian-made shit. Let me see who Sabrina is. She might be married to JD Vance, or might be this might be Patel's sister. Oh my fucking god! Look at this shit. Who the fuck is this? Press Secretary. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. She almost looked like AOC. She can be related to AOC. She might be related to Patel. Said, oh, she served under the previous system, blah, 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 to President Deputy Secretary Kamala. Oh, she from the Biden administration, and Trump kept her in there. Or did he? No, he got her out of there. Trump said, bitch, get the fuck up out of here. And then, let's see. Development. Don't want to go into development. Let me go into other uses. What else they got on this shit? So you can intercept these missiles. So they do have things that intercept it. But then they saying it's difficult because the shit flying so goddamn fast. Let me see. In August of 20 says in late August 2025, Planet Lab satellite says imagery showed what analysis interpreted as preparations of an Oryshnik launch site in Belarus, about 60 or 37 miles south of Minsk, says on a former strategic rocket force site, says an area larger than 3/4 of a square mile, says have been cleared. Says have been cleared of unexploded ordnance. Says and a number of new structures have been erected. Let me see what else they got. I wonder if they got. I would love to see a video of that damn missile. A missile going Mach 10. That's crazy shit. But yeah, that's all I got. Let me get up out of here. So he says, I believe Texas should have clinched a 11 or 12 seed in the playoffs. So you think Texas got railroaded and going into that shit. But folks, yeah, that's all I got. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm up out of this joint. Peace out.